straight across to Calcutta now. Tamal is joining us live from there. Tamal, what is happening? I believe the BJP is now approaching the High Court. The High Court has asked the top cop of the state to tell them what has happened, why it has happened. Tell us what else is happening on the ground right now. Are the protests over? Is it all done and dusted?
Well, the protests have been done and dusted, but then certainly the political blame game hasn't been done and dusted as yet. It has only amplified, it has only multiplied, and it has only amped up further between Trinamool Congress and BJP. BJP has accused Trinamool Congress and the police, for the alleged high-handedness, accusing police of resorting to using excesses, on behalf of Trinamool Congress to in a way quell dissent. Sorry, please don't mind my voice. But then Trinamool Congress, on the other hand, had been accusing BJP that they have tried destabilizing the existing law and order situation in the ground, that they had tried creating a spectacle to, in a way, revive to relevance ahead of Panchayat elections, which is slated, later this year or early next year. So the verbal political bickering fight between Trinamool Congress and BJP has only taken the center stage only after day-long protest, day-long violence. We have seen how the day started as several roads have been completely blocked. BJP wanted to carry out protest rallies, take the rallies towards to Howrah, converge and move towards the state secretariat, which is Nabanna. The communique which was sent to BJP by the police that no secretariat in this country, be it in Bengal or any other part of the country, is a casual spot. They are all highly secured, sensitive zones. No protest demonstration allowed, and they all come under Section 144. So there is no exception in the state of West Bengal in Kolkata. So they were denied permission because A, there could be law and order situation. B, it's a highly secured zone. Sure. But then the protest happened. We have also seen the kind of confrontation that happened between police and BJP workers. We know, as a matter of fact, several people have been arrested. Okay. No less than 363 BJP workers have sustained injuries. 56 police people have sustained injuries. Several vehicles and public properties have been ransacked and vandalized. So all in all, it was a day of trouble. It was a day of absolute tension. Even though the violence possibly has ended, but the political war awards are on and possibly to continue. Okay. Tamal, we'll leave it there for the moment. Tamal has had a rough day covering the protests from one spot to another. Thank you very much for joining us. Going across to our guests who are joining us this evening, thank you very much all for your time. Arindam Bhattacharjee, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us on the broadcast. Gargi Nandi Roy is a political analyst with us as well. Sandeep Ghosh is an author joining us on the broadcast. Professor Monojit Mondal, spokesperson of the TMC, with us. And we have Mr. Chaudhary, who's a political analyst. He's with us as well. Mr. Arindam Bhattacharjee, were you injured in the protests?
Yeah. Okay. From the morning itself, I was given the duty by BJP party to receive our workers at the Sialda station. And from there, we joined this protest in College Street, means College Square, the Kolkata gathering. And as you have witnessed along the day, started with violence. From yesterday, the police was barricading the BJP workers in different districts from coming to Kolkata. It started from yesterday and continued today also. Okay. And all of a sudden, they resorted to this lathi charge. They were pelting stones also. There were some people who were wearing the police uniform, but were in sleepers. I don't know how police is registering their presence in sleepers. And they pelted stone, they lathi charged us, irrespective of the age, even some old people, some women. Okay. They were all manhandled, assaulted.
Okay, Mr.
Many taken to custody also.
Correct. I mean, you have 363 people who've been injured. You clearly are one of them. 56 people are police people as well who've been injured. So there was violence from both sides, because we've seen pictures from both sides, Mr. Arindam Bhattacharjee. We've seen TMC workers attack a police van, thrash policemen as well, set a vehicle on fire. So those pictures are visible, very visible as well. Mr. Bhattacharjee, can I ask you this? Can I ask you this question, and you can answer both the questions together?
I'll try to bring to your notice. There were some people who were in police dress but wearing slippers. I don't know whether they were also part of the TMC gang or not, because we have seen this, that people wearing uniform, they are going to some this person's house and then arresting them and killing them in the way.
Professor
Anis Khan episode we have seen, and the police denied that they were not police personnel. Maybe this sort of activities were assaulted by the TMC.
Professor Monojit Mondal, would you want to respond to that? A direct charge that is coming in from the BJP is that the violence was actually instigated by the TMC and TMC workers who were wearing police uniforms.
Do you really want me to dignify such?
Well, that is an allegation coming from the official spokesperson of the BJP. Therefore, an official spokesperson of the TMC should respond to it.
He can be an official spokesperson, but I do not know whether he's now in BJP. Some years back he was in Congress, then he came to TMC. I really don't want to even dignify such comments made by people, whether he's from BJP, Congress, or any other political party. That TMC is in a police dress, wearing slippers. This used to happen in left front regime in Nandigram. That's nothing of that sort happened at all. In fact, the police were on the receiving line. There are 30 police persons now injured. I just got the information from my party. At least 30 policemen were injured. Some of them I think could be shown on the TV. Three reporters were attacked. One was your former colleague. He was also injured. We can say that the way the stones were being thrown, people don't come for a peaceful protest with bricks in hand, right? They were not being sold the bricks were not being sold on the streets of Calcutta. Let me say this.
You want to say that people
please stop this violent man. If he's injured, he should take care of himself rather than disturbing others. Please stop this violent man.
No.
If he's injured seriously, please ask him to be quiet.
There is absolutely no need
he can't disturb me. He can't disturb me. Did I disturb him?
No, Monojit, there is absolutely no need to lose your temper. Mr. Bhattacharjee made his point peacefully. You can make your point peacefully.
I'm quietly, confidently defending my party.
I'm asking huge amount
of someone is barging in,
gentlemen, it's been a rough day in Calcutta.
If someone is barging in like that, I will have to protest.
Okay,
that's not my way of debating.
Just a minute.
You have known me for the last 5 years.
Gentlemen, Mr. Bhattacharjee, Monojit Mondal, I am going to request both of you to calm down, to cool down. I'll give you 2 minutes. I'll get the others in. I had more questions for you, but I don't want a tutu meme here. I know what has happened on the streets of Calcutta. There has been much violence. We have seen TMC workers attack the police. We have seen the police resort to extreme violence. When I say extreme violence, the word used here by by a member of the BJP who was injured.
Why are you saying the TMC workers are attacking police? This is, I
beg your pardon. Just a minute. That was a slip of tongue. What I meant was that we saw BJP members attack a police van and attack some policemen as well. I was speaking to Shwapan Das Gupta, and the one word, Monojit, he is used is a police overkill. He says we would have been okay if the protest, if the rally was regulated. Why this overkill? Why resort to such extreme force?
I'll reply. First of all, this is the time that we have been waiting for the last 2 years. Just 10 days before the puja. Everyone is on the street shopping because they could not do it for the last 2 years. Everyone knows. You have the right to protest, but you cannot have the right to take the city into ransom. And by storming into the Secretariat, which is sanitized zone. 3 days back, left front also had the same kind of protest against the same issues. Quote unquote corruption of the government. Nothing of this happened because they were not disturbing the common citizen. These people, in a very organized fashion, deliberately disturbing the puja crowd. who are out in the streets and with stones in their hand, with bricks. I mean, this is an example of a violent, peaceful protest. BJP is known, credibly known for their violence, whether it's inside the TV studio or outside for the last 30 years. What are you talking about? The police
What is your party known for?
Exemplary.
Don't forget the scene inside the Bengal
you are
assembly.
injured.
Your
Why
Supremo
arguing?
ransacked the assembly
This will
also.
disturb your head. You are injured, sir.
Mr.
No,
Bhattacharya.
I have to speak up.
Monojit, what's the point of getting unnecessarily aggressive? You know, what is the point of getting unnecessarily aggressive? Why? I mean, you know we are not an outrage channel, na?
I'm
Monojit.
imploring him that he should be
No,
quiet because he's injured.
No, you don't worry about Mr. Bhattacharya. You don't worry about Mr. Bhattacharya. His party will worry about him and his injuries. Mr. Bhattacharya, I want to ask you one question.
Did I disturb this person?
Those
Look,
videos are still on the internet.
He's apparently injured, but he's still becoming violent in TV studio.
Arey,
He's
wait
cutting
na
my
bhai,
voice.
you don't
He
become
can't muzzle my
violent.
voice like
Monojit,
that,
you
sir.
don't become violent. Ek minute ruko. Mr. Bhattacharya, I have a question to ask you. I have a question to ask you, Mr. Bhattacharya. Please no tu mein. Don't, let's not waste the viewers' time. Gentlemen, let's not waste the viewers' time. Mr. Bhattacharya, help me understand. Mr. Bhattacharya, help me. Monojit.
And disturbing me.
Mamata Banerjee leading their own MLAs to ransack the assembly.
Don't even take her name in your dirty mouth.
Forgot that
Don't even take her name
We'll
in
not
your
take
dirty
any
mouth.
lesson from you.
Don't even take her name
We'll
in
not
dirty
take
mouth.
any lesson from
Gentlemen,
you. Nobody will.
You have no
Gentlemen, okay,
You have
I'm
no
getting the other
credibility.
panelists in. If this is how you want to behave, I'm getting the other panelists in. Mr. Bhattacharya, I have a simple question for you and for the BJP. You sought permission for this rally. The permission was clearly denied to you. Yet you went ahead, ek minute, Monojit. Yet, Mr. Bhattacharya, the BJP went ahead with its rally. Please tell me, in which country will the government or police forces allow the Secretariat, which is probably the most sensitive building in the state, to be ghirawed? If permission was denied, why did this rally take place in the first place, Mr. Bhattacharya? And wasn't that asking for trouble?
Character, and after that yourself. That is what their line of action is.
Now, this person is injured. Look how he's quarreling with me.
Mr. Mondal, just let Mr. Bhattacharya please complete his point. No, Mr. Mondal, this is unfair. You are now hijacking. You are now hijacking the debate. Mr. Mondal, you are hijacking the debate. I didn't expect this from you. I have known you for a very long time. This is not what I expect from you. I expect a civilized debate from you, not this hijacking. Mr. Bhattacharya, quickly answer my question before I move to other panelists.
Can't have civilized debate with uncivilized.
Arey, wait na, wait. No.
Uncivilized. The
You
entire country is
you don't understand. I'm saying you are uncivilized because you are buzzing in like that.
This is
No,
uncalled
who is
for.
uncivilized? The
This
entire
is
country has
uncalled
known
for.
that.
Okay, I am.
Time and again.
Okay, I'm going to Gargi Nandi Roy. I'm going to Gargi Nandi Roy. Gentlemen, cool down. Have a glass of water.
Who was abusing the Home Minister of this country?
Please cool down and have a glass of water. I'm coming back to you. I'm getting my other panelists in. This is not how we want the debate to continue. Please, gentlemen, there are questions we need to ask you. Kolkata, there was complete chaos on the streets of Kolkata. We need to understand why it happened and what has been achieved. Gargi Nandi Roy, you've heard, you know, the tutu meme between the BJP and the TMC for the last 15 minutes. I want you to help us understand what has happened through the day today. It was completely expected. We all knew what was going to happen.
I think, Shreya, the protest should have been allowed, if not near to the Nabanna, at least a little away from it, because Satragachi is almost 20 kilometers away, Howrah is 8-10 kilometers. Why they had to be stopped there? And if the police stops a procession with tear gas, water cannons, then there will be retaliation with violence. And let me tell you, Shreya, the corruption and tyranny of TMC have reached a height. So what you are saying now, it is the pent-up grievances, pent-up anger of the people pouring out on the street. Also, you will see more. We have seen the kind of corruption, because our young people are protesting on the roads for more than 500 days, and jobs of teachers are being sold for 15 to 20 lakhs. We have seen that, and schools after schools are closed, government schools, 25 schools in Howrah specifically, I am telling you. So if this is the situation, we have seen people who have paid money to Partha Chatterjee's aid, went to his house, attacked his house. I don't support that violence. His wife as son was manhandled by them. The TMC aides wife and son. Why is this happening? Because it is the people's anger. So Shreya, when there is the time for a political change, a regime change, this kind of uprising happens. Monojit is forgetting that when corruption and tyranny reach this height, and he's talking about violence of TMC, they have made the word khala hobe synonymous with murder and rape. You have seen the kind of rape and murder that happened last year after the election, the post-poll violence that has happened. I have made video with a woman. She had to flee her village. Women are raped at gunpoint. They could not complain about it in the police station because TMC goons were sitting there. Hooliganism, houses were burned, 1 lakh people had to leave Bengal after the election. Houses were burned, houses were pulled down by JCB machine of BJP workers. What have they done? Of the voters who have voted for BJP, electricity was cut off from their houses. What is Monojit saying? We have not seen that candidate or opponent's wife is being raped. Grandmother was raped. The National Human Rights Commission has already said there is no rule of law of the ruler. So this kind of things is quite expected on the streets of Bengal. We don't want that to happen. They could have allowed the protest to happen. Okay, they could have said ki Nabanna is a Secretariat 144 there. But why 20 kilometers away? Why the people are not allowed to board the train? They could have allowed them to up to a distance. Then they could have barricaded. Why barricade at Chhatragachi? Why barricade at Howrah? Why do lathi charge? I have heard a woman was hit by lathi so badly that it went inside her stomach. We have seen Minapura is injured. And even police were seen pelting stones. What we have seen police pelting stones. And who knows who torched the car? TMC is master of torching cars and houses. Last year, how many houses they have torched? They have a master degree in this. A party, TMC is a party of goons and murderers.
Okay, Gargi, while you are, you have a right, Gargi, to say what you want to.
What have they? 39 cases are still under CBI.
Gargi, you have a right to say what you want to, but the pictures that have come...
The thing is, this is the wrath of the people.
Okay, you are saying it's the wrath of the people, but I'm again saying that the pictures I have seen come through the day has shown us violence from the police side and from the side of the BJP as well. So we've seen both sides. Sandeep Ghosh, is it only people's anger that is erupting, as Gargi is putting it, or is there something more to the protest, and whether you think it was probably an error by Mamata Banerjee not to give at least partial permission for this rally to go on? Because look at what she's being called now. She's being called a dictator, she's being called Hitler, etc., by the BJP.
Shreya, all of you are much younger than me. This is nothing new. This is an old script being repeated in West Bengal. We have seen this script in the 70s. And when Left Front came into power, and then when Trinamool wrested the power from Left Front, identical things. Mamata Banerjee was injured then, and all the same kind of police atrocities. So this is the old playbook being repeated. Now, what is, the same kind of excuse, as you said earlier, asked Chopin, about, each state, the same thing happens. If somebody is coming, there is section 144, and you say that this part is sanitized, people will not come in. So what I think is significant in today's situation, Shreya, I think the point Gargi was making, why at 20 kilometers away from Nabanna, there were these barricades created, and barricades are not ordinary barricades. These were reinforced barricades. Why was, tear gas shells fired so early? Why was water cannon used? Why? I think that displays a certain degree of nervousness in Trinamool.
Monojit Mondal,
cornered on one side.
Monojit Mondal, respond to that.
No, let me complete.
First of all,
Acha, ek minute, Monojit. Let Sandeep Ghosh complete. Yes, please go ahead.
So what is, I have to complete. See, I told you, Monojit, once he starts speaking, very difficult to anybody to. So when Amit Shah came to Calcutta a few weeks back, one clear message he gave to the people: don't expect the center to intervene. You guys have to fight from the grassroots. and don't think that center will come and impose precedence rule or anything. And here, I think Shubhendu Adhikari, I'm not getting into the fact where he has come from, what are his antecedents, etc. He's trying to prove his mettle on the ground leadership. And I've never seen this kind of mobilization from BJP, even before 2021. In the last few years, the fact that they have been able to mobilize, despite, I read one Trinamool spokesperson saying 12 crores have been spent to get people from Bihar and Jharkhand, whatever it might be, this level of mobilization, even after the leaders were taken into custody, the resistance which you saw is very different. And this is something which cannot be wished away.
Okay.
Whosoever is to blame. And, people can't just get away by saying that this is all contrived.
Okay.
That's
Go ahead,
my
Monojit. Respond to what Sandeep is saying.
First of all, I think we have been hearing for the last 5-6 years malicious campaign on the part of the BJP and some of their apologists. I would say masquerading as political analysts, but really actually worse than the BJP spokesperson.
But why would you want to get personal, Monojit? I've not known you to be like this, which is why I'm a little surprised.
Names,
Don't call anyone names, right? They are on the panel. They are respected people, which is why they are on the panel. Just let them have their say and you have your say. And let's move ahead.
If they lie about my state, if they malign my...
What is the lie? What is the lie? We saw 50 crore rupees coming out of Partha Chatterjee's residence. Did we or did we not?
Now.
We know what happened with Anubrata Mandal. Those pictures are there for all of us to see.
I'm amazed by your sagacity, Shreya, that you have 4 persons against 1 and you still not allow me to speak. Why are you so scared of me? I don't understand.
Good one. I'll give it to you. Good one. Go ahead, Monojit. Let's give Monojit a minute. Chaliye, let's give.
Not even allow me to complete a single sentence.
Chalo, go ahead.
I do not have to prove how these people got eggs on their face for the last 12 years because people of Bengal have proven it. They have been saying the same thing since 2017. I'm not saying Mr. Dada Sandeep Dada was there or Madam was there, but some new avatars,
Calcutta High Court has been saying the same thing.
Sandeep Dada, bolte din. I hope you understand Bengali. Ekটু তো বলতে দিন. Still not, you're not in Bengal, but you need let me speak at least. You're a very senior person,
He record cholbe
It is the way one debates. I beg your intelligence here now.
Okay, Monojit, go ahead.
I beg your intelligence that at least
complete your point. I have to go to Mr. Chaudhary as well.
That's what I'm saying. That this malicious campaign against Bengal and people of Bengal, my motherland, land of Tagore and many others, is going on for the last 10 years. And it has been intensified by BJP. I'm making again contextualizing in the last 5 years. After 17 only BJP has intensified this, malicious campaign like the one Madam was talking about, all those narratives of rapes and all. Complete baseless. Where the forceful violence? Who is investigating, Madam? It is your CBI. Nothing has happened in the last 1.5 years. The post-poll violence, quote-unquote post-poll violence, quote-unquote post-poll, tortures on women, you're investigating into by your CBI. How many of TMC leaders are arrested? I mean, talk sense, talk facts. You are a Bengali. Have some courtesy for your motherland. I mean, this is complete malicious, and despite the fact that you have been given thumping reply by the people of Bengal last year, Ab ki baar 200 paar. All of you started sloganeering with your Amit Shah. Nothing happened, Madam. So come back to reality. These protests were stopped for a specific reason, because people of Bengal, I repeat, which I've been doing, they're deliberately disturbing Durga Puja festival. And you had only the Secretariat to protest. There are plenty of other places. Left Front also had similar kind of rally 2 days back. Nothing happened on the same issues. Nothing happened because they had chosen a segregated place without disturbing the common citizens.
TMC is supporting left. It's amazing.
Festival after 2 years. This is a deliberate attempt to disturb Durga Puja and our festivity.
Gargi wants to respond. Gargi wants to respond. Monojit, let her respond. Mr. Chaudhary, I apologize. I've kept you waiting. I'm just coming to you. Let Gargi respond because the charge is against her.
It's amazing that. It's amusing that Trinamool is supporting left. That they are saying left is better. The thing is, Shreya, Trinamool is rattled today because when Mamata Banerjee came to power, she also came to power with this kind of agitation. So as I said, when a time for a change of regime comes, this kind of uprising happens. So she is rattled because she knows how she came to power. That's why they are scared. And what is he talking that violence did not happen? Shreya, I personally have videos of women. I have spoken to the victims, made videos, sent to PMO. I've done lot with those victims. So let Monojit Mondal not tell me. You also know 39 cases already being handled by CBI, and after the elections there were 7,000 reported cases of molestation. So please do not lie. And let me tell you, not only that violence, I want to tell you that the former secretary of Mahila Morcha of BJP, she was forced to send her daughter outside West Bengal. You know why? Every time the 24-year-old girl used to come down of her house, with bikes, Trinamool people would come and tell her, Khala hobe, Khala hobe. The word Khala hobe became synonymous with murder and rape in Bengal. If it is told to a man, it means murder. If it is told to a woman, it means that woman will be raped. And they chose 16th August, specifically the Direct Action Day, as Khala hobe Day. So that shows what they want to do. What is their intention? Okay, so they are talking violence. They have done terrible violence. They have unleashed a reign of terror on the people of Bengal. So this kind of uprising is expected. They should have allowed till at a distance a barricade. If they wanted to put, they could have put 5 kilometers from Nabanna or 2-3 kilometers. You cannot go to Secretariat. No need to stop them at Satragachi 20 kilometers away or Howrah. Then this would not have happened. Nobody wants to see this kind of bloodshed, this kind of violence and arson on the streets of Bengal. We don't want. My heart as a Bengali, as a daughter of Bengal, bleeds today to see the condition of Bengal. Please know
Mr.
it,
Chaudhary?
Mondal, my heart bleeds today.
Okay.
I'm shocked, I'm ashamed.
Mr. Chaudhary, come in here. You've heard the entire debate.
Thank you.
I want to ask you,
Bengali
if it was a strategic error on the part of Mamata Banerjee not to give at least partial permission for this protest to go on. Look at her politics. Her politics has been largely about protests, about dharnas. She's a street fighter. She's a street leader. That's how she's made it to the top spot and the top seat in West Bengal. Today, there's a lot of name calling that has happened. She's been called dictator. She's been called Tanasha. She's been called Hitler by the BJP. Could all of this have been avoided? Could the violence that we saw on the streets of West Bengal today have been avoided?
Yeah, one thing is very clear today, there's a lot of political significance to these protests and the violent clashes that happened today in Kolkata and parts surrounding Kolkata. First and foremost, in a democracy, every political party has got its right to protest, to show its dissent. But then you have to go back in history to elections, the 2021 elections and the 2019 elections. What was happening in Bengal was a binary was created between the BJP and the TMC. These are the principal parties political parties in West Bengal. But then after 2021, there has been a paradigm shift in a voter sentiment largely towards the left political parties and a little bit in some pockets towards the Congress. This has rattled the TMC to such an extent because in any case, everybody in this panel will always agree that a binary helps TMC a lot. The polarization and the reverse polarization debate comes into play. So when you see that what was happening today is a game plan both by the BJP as well as the TMC to create a scene in the public domain so that a binary is once again recreated in the political landscape of Bengal. And when you go in the talk for the BJP, you can see the BJP in Bengal right now is a divided house. You have got three leaders pulling in three different directions. Dilip Ghosh speaking against the CBI, Shubhendu Adhikari trying to pull out his own political acumen, whereas you have got the state president Sukanto Babu, he is speaking in a different tone. Now this attempt today at this protest, a Nabanna protest, even though the protest was for the teachers recruitment scam, that is already being monitored under the guidance of under the supervision of the High Court. Anyhow, nevertheless, we have got as an opposition, any political party has got a right to protest. But then this protest by BJP was to bring together his divided flock together and attempt to stay in the relevance as a binary within the political landscape of the state. That's the basic understanding that I have got out here. And one last point that I want to put out here is BJP must draw a lesson from today that how not to treat an opposition party's protest in the states that they are ruling right now.
Correct.
So it's a situation wherein you cannot be hypocritical and criticize the Trinamool government for their political police excesses today, as well you support the other governments where you are ruling, where the opposition is being bulldozed into submission. So that's my limited point in this today.
It's good analysis, and I want to wrap with that. But a last word to Mr. Arindam Bhattacharjee. Mr. Bhattacharjee, you have said dissent is a democratic right of everyone. Protest is a democratic right of everyone in this country. I completely agree with you 100%. The BJP has as much of a right to protest as the Aam Aadmi Party does or the Congress does. But the fact remains that your governments across this country, and I have various instances, I don't want to waste the viewers' time, but I'm just going to tell you that, we've had it in Ahmedabad where police has denied permission to the Aam Aadmi Party to protest. They had to move court. Again, the Delhi police that comes under the Home Ministry denying permission to the Congress to hold protests in New Delhi. So while you may say that Mamata Banerjee is democratic, she is stifling dissent, your governments in various states do the same thing.
No. Have you witnessed this type of police atrocities across India? At least I haven't. Have you seen police framing opposition leaders in different false cases across India? I differ. I haven't. The role of police in West Bengal. I was one of the victims myself in 2016. The case is pending in Kolkata High Court against 2 IPS officers. And this type of incidents happens regularly.
Okay.
FIRs are not registered in the police stations. I was a public representative, so I know how the police functions over here. And this type of this mass protest, they take it as it is coming against their pride because they have got the signal from higher up.
Can I get 10 seconds, Rupert?
So they try each and every, whatever they have the resources, they apply it on the common people because they know this is the norm in West Bengal and they are given the support from the higher up, the police minister, the CM is the police minister.
But the same allegation will come against the BJP as well. The same allegation, Mr. Bhattacharjee, can come against the BJP as well. That central agencies are used against opposition parties. The same allegation comes against you. I have 10 seconds. I'm running out of time. I have 10 seconds. Monojit, to you, go ahead.
Forget about the opposition leaders.
We have not seen in cases of TMC workers also.
You have arrested
this is the protection the police is
students
from the
in Delhi.
I haven't seen this.
You have jailed them.
In any of the states.
Reporters. Forget about opposition leaders. You have arrested the students. You have arrested the reporters. You have murdered democracy, freedom of expression. You are lecturing us about democracy. This is joke, biggest joke as far as I am concerned.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much indeed. I think many of you, all of you in fact, and all your voices have helped us put what has happened through the day in Calcutta in perspective. Thank you very much, Arindam Bhattacharjee, Gargi Nandi Roy, Sandeep Ghosh, Professor Monojit Mondal, and Mr. Chaudhary. Thank you very much indeed. I'm now